guys, today I'm going to show you how to do a machine overcast stitch. This stitch is really useful if you don't have access to a serger. It really does prevent the edges of the fabric fraying and raveling as you sew. So it's not a construction stitch, it's more of a protective stitch for your fabric. Let's get sewing. These are our overcast stitches. This stitch on the left hand side is going to be your basic overcast. That's the one we're going to be using today. The other three are going to be variations that will help protect the very edge of your fabric. So the thing to keep in mind is that you want the right edge of your stitch to just touch over the edge of your fabric. To do this, we're going to use a special foot. This overcast foot has a cutout on the right hand side. It also has a metal bar that will press your fabric down while you're sewing so it doesn't pull up the edge. So we're just going to attach this foot as we normally would, and we're going to set our fabric underneath, but we're going to set the edge of the fabric right underneath that metal bar that presses down on our fabric. This is going to make sure that our fabric doesn't tunnel as we're sewing or like pull up on those edges. This is going to really lay that stitch nice and flat. We always want to rotate through our stitch because we have that metal bar in our stitching area. We don't want to accidentally hit that and break our needle. So we're just going to kind of take it slowly. If you need to stabilize the edge, if you notice that it's kind of dragging down into the feed dogs, do definitely stabilize your stitch as you are sewing. You're just going to sew down the raw edge as far as you need to. You can reverse a couple stitches at the end to kind of lock that stitch down. This is what the stitch looks like with one single layer. I would definitely look at my tension and increase my tension. Using one layer of fabric, this stitch on my machine is set up with a tension for multiple layers. We can also use the stitch to finish off the edges of quilts before we add our binding. That's something I really like to use this stitch for. So I'm going to square off my quilt, spray baste my batting and my backing together, and I'm just going to quickly overcast with that simple overcast stitch right across the edge. If you notice the edges, the layers are kind of off a little bit, but this will definitely even that out, help you even that out. So if that's what the stitch looks like with those three layers all together, it's going to kind of compress the layers down and make it easier for you to apply your binding. And it just gives a really nice appearance, a really nice finished appearance. Everything's together. You can also use it when you are finishing off seams. So this is a seam that I've sewn, and let's say it's in a shirt or a pair of pants or something to that effect. I'm going to sew my seam allowances together. You can also sew them apart, but I like to sew them together. It just makes it really nice and neat. If I need to apply a waistband or sleeves, this allows me to sew my seam allowances together, press them to one side, and then continue sewing on. This is going to also give you a very professional finish. Your pants and your shirts will look like they are made in a clothing factory, which is great. So this is going to be right off the machine. You can press out a little bit of that wobbling, but this is going to be what the stitch looks like with two layers finishing off a seam. Thank you so much for watching my quick stitch video. I'll be back next week with another stitch. Like and subscribe if you liked this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.